Since the dawn of time, humanity has looked to the sky in search of answers. We've tried to understand what makes the universe exist, what makes life bloom, and what connects us to the unseen. Across every era and culture, men and women have felt the same calling, the call of something greater, the call of conscious creation. What the ancients once called divine power, modern science now calls the quantum field, an invisible, intelligent, living force that permeates everything that exists. Some call it God, others energy, others still consciousness. But regardless of the name, all speak of the same reality. There is a field where all things are possible, and that field responds to the vibration of our being. The ancient civilizations knew that the universe is mind, that the word creates, and that feeling is the language through which the invisible becomes visible. Jesus, Buddha, Hermes, Krishna, all spoke of the same truth under different names. They never asked us to seek the divine outside of ourselves, but to awaken it within. Jesus called this power faith. Buddha called it enlightenment. Hermes named it the All. And today, quantum physicists describe it as the unified field of consciousness. Different faces of the same mystery, the creative power of awakened awareness. Jesus revealed that faith is the code of manifestation. All that you ask for, believe that you have already received, and it shall be so. He wasn't speaking of belief, but of vibration. Faith is the deep feeling that the miracle has already happened. It is the conscious collapse of doubt. When the heart vibrates with certainty, the universe has no choice but to respond. Buddha, in turn, revealed the other side of this truth, the power of silence. In his stillness, he discovered that the mind is the veil separating the self from the all. In the instant the mind grows quiet, the void reveals itself, and the void is not absence, but wholeness. Buddha's sunyata is the same quantum field modern science speaks of, an ocean of infinite possibilities, waiting only for consciousness to observe it so that it may become form. In quantum physics, this is known as the mystery of the observer. Experiments show that mere observation changes the outcome. The subatomic world is not fixed. It is a sea of probabilities that organizes itself according to the conscious gaze. Jesus did this through faith. Buddha did this through silence. Both understood that reality is shaped by the consciousness that beholds it. The quantum field, the kingdom of God within us, is the living matrix of creation. It is not a metaphor. It is literal. It vibrates in every atom, breathes in every cell, and pulses in every emotion. When we love, we come into resonance with it. When we doubt, we disconnect. It does not judge, it simply reflects. That's why the collapse of doubt is the true miracle. Doubt is the vibration that unravels creation. It fragments the coherence of the field and blocks the flow. But when faith stabilizes, the universe aligns. Physics calls this coherence. Spirit calls it surrender. Faith is the collapse of uncertainty, the moment when the self becomes what it believes. Feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. The universe does not respond to words, but to the vibration of the heart. Thought gives direction, but feeling gives form. The heart is the antenna that translates consciousness into energy, and energy into reality. That's why to feel is to create. The universe is a mirror, sensitive to emotion. True prayer does not ask, feels. The ancients knew this. When they wanted rain, they did not beg the heavens. They felt the scent of wet earth. They saw the crops dancing. They gave thanks for the water that was already falling. They felt it as real, and the field responded. Prayer is not a verbal act, but a vibrational state. And when that prayer is sealed with gratitude, the cycle completes itself. Gratitude is the energetic seal of manifestation. To give thanks beforehand is to declare to the field, "It is done." Gratitude dissolves anxiety, transforms fear into faith, and turns time into presence. It is the vibration of certainty. Certainty, in turn, is the frequency that stabilizes the universe around us. The quantum field is sensitive to inner coherence. If we vibrate fear, it reflects chaos. If we vibrate certainty, it reflects harmony. The universe does not fulfill wishes. It reflects states of consciousness. But the greatest obstacle to this communion is the ego. The ego believes it is separate from the whole and tries to control the flow. It wants to force, prove, conquer. The spirit simply flows. The ego says, "I need." The spirit whispers, "I am." True creation happens when the ego grows silent and the heart takes command. When we release the ego, we rediscover alignment, intention, emotion, and action. Vibrating in harmony. To think is to direct. To feel is to energize. To act is to anchor. The coherence of these three pillars creates the miracle. Intention is the divine masculine, the seed. Emotion is the sacred feminine, the womb of vibration. Action is the birth of form. When the three unite, the invisible becomes matter. At that point, manifestation ceases to be control and becomes communion with the whole. Manifestation is not a technique. It is a living prayer, a silent dialogue between the fragment and the infinite, a recognition that the universe creates through us. Every true desire is the divine itself, wanting to recognize its own reflection in form. The true creator does not force. They listen. They hear the whisper of the field and respond with gratitude. The individual and the cosmic merge into a single heart. Creation is not conquest. It is collaboration. The ego seeks to dominate. The spirit seeks to serve. And in that service, the miracle becomes natural. Then we finally understand the supreme secret. To manifest is an act of love. It is love experiencing itself through us, creating shapes in order to know itself. Every thought is a brushstroke, every emotion a color, and reality is the living canvas, upon which the infinite reveals itself. When that love becomes complete, the seeker disappears. There is no longer me and God. There is only consciousness. Creation becomes prayer. Life becomes a temple. Duality dissolves. Good and evil, success and failure, all are expressions of the same love that beats at the heart of the cosmos. Everything we were searching for was here all along. With it, the spiritual journey is the return home. It is remembering that we are co-creators, not spectators. That life does not happen to us, but through us. That the divine word never stopped being spoken, and that we are its living continuation. The universe does not hear you with its ears.